Hey, Tim Sykes here. It is December 22nd, 2016. The market has been open for roughly 1 hour. I have locked in roughly $2,000 in profits. Did not trade either of my plays perfectly, but I took the meat of the move, which I talk about in my DVDs. And this is why I love teaching, because $2,000 in, an hour, that's cool. That's good money. But on Wall Street, that's actually not that much money if you look at like what the top traders are making. But I'm not trying to teach you how to trade like the top traders who are making, 10, 50, 100 million a year, because their strategies are not applicable to you, the average retail trader. You don't have their capital, you don't have their tools, you don't have the know-how, and that's okay. And the good news is that $2,000 in a day is pretty damn good in the real world, outside of the little bubble that is Wall Street. Okay, and frankly, I've met a lot of these top traders. They're not better people for making so much money. They're weird as fuck. They have drug addictions. They have prescription pill addictions. It's really not a good place to be. If you really want that life, go for it. But I'm much better, and I think that you're much better off if you just try to make $1,000 or $2,000 a day, and it adds up over time. This is how I've already created several millionaire traders. So if you like that, leave a comment and write the word 2000 with a dollar sign if $2,000 a day is good enough for you. And I'm curious to see how many people think that actually $2,000 is good enough. I've met all sorts of people. I have students now in over 80 countries. Some people think that it's too little. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's something wrong with you, because $2,000 in a day is damn good money. And this is how I've made my, nearly $5 million now, averaging roughly $2,000 per trade. Today I actually did 2 trades. I'll talk about that in a second. First, I got to talk about this sale. We have this holiday sale for Hanukkah and Christmas. It's just going to be a few more days, saving 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% off DVDs and newsletters. Use it, especially in the holidays. We have a long weekend coming up. You can take the time off and you can study. My How to Make Millions DVD is just crucial to watch, okay? It's 35 hours long. It's your foundation for everything. It all goes to charity. We've now raised over $2 million for charity with this DVD. Also, Spikeability is my newest DVD, and Penny Stocking Part 2, and Penny Stocking Framework are required watching. Also, if you really want to learn how to short sell, especially these morning spikes that are happening, watch my Top Students DVD, Trading Tickers. But now let's talk about today's plays. First, let's talk about Oprah. Oprah reveals that she's lost over 40 pounds with Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers, for those of you who don't know, WTW is the ticker. And I was buying this, years ago when she first got involved, right in here. And the stock went, basically from 6 to 12, and then it kept going to 28 on hopes that she would really change the company. Hasn't really panned out. But now, this is pretty good that she's lost 40 pounds. So I immediately thought this is a potential buy for me. But I don't want to just buy any stock. I need to see if it really has potential. Pre-market, it's trading between 1140, 1160, comes down to like 1120 at the market open. Nothing great. But when it takes out the day high right here at 1160, that is my time to say, hey, wait a minute, this could have legs. That's literally all I'm doing. This is one of my main strategies. Looking for pre-market winners, understanding if they have good spikeability, as I explained in my spikeability DVD, and seeing if they can have legs. And sure enough, it did. And I did not time it right, okay? It spiked big right in here around 10 a.m. I was out here in the 1190 area because, frankly, I was in around 1160, out at 1190. It wasn't breaking 12. It had tried to break 12 a few times, and it couldn't do it. So I got out. I made like 30 cents a share. Not that much. The thing that actually really pushed it over was CNBC. And this is literally right at 10 a.m. they tweeted this. WTW soars after Oprah lost 40 pounds. So CNBC and their usual slow as fuck reporters offered you the opportunity. And I'm not bitter. I'm very grateful that their reporters are so slow. Okay, this news was out pre-market. But this is the beauty of penny stocks and low price stocks, because it's not efficiently markets. That's not proper grammar. I wanted to say a few different things. It's not efficiently priced. These markets are inefficient. So CNBC doesn't really care about WTW. It's nice with Oprah. Okay, it's an $11 stock, so it's not a typical penny stock. But it is not Google, and it's not GE or Bank of America. It's not a heavily, highly followed stock that CNBC talks about every single second. CNBC's ratings are at multi-decade lows because they're purely just entertainment. They're not good if you actually want to make money. So this is where the opportunity lies. When CNBC is tweeting about it and talking about it, guess what? It spikes all within like a minute or two, or 10 minutes in this case. But if you had known about it earlier here in the 1150s, 1160s, 1170s, guess what? Then you can sell into those latecomer CNBC viewers, like a lot of my students are doing. Where was one guy? I have a lot of students tweeting me. If I forget you or don't highlight you, I'm sorry. Jimmy made some money on HTBX. I'll talk about that in a second. Derry made money on GSAT. So that's cool. That was a play that I had the other day. TKAI was on Quincy. Quincy made some money. Where was it? Oh, there's so many. Nick made the good overnight money on ANY. I'll talk about that in a second. Hovan had his biggest gain. Very nice money here on GSAT. Look at this. Look at this. This is an awesome gain by Hovan. Good job, man, on GSAT. I was buying that the other day. I sold that one too soon. I'm not a perfect timer, okay? This is the beautiful thing about my business. I'm not a hedge fund manager. I'm not a prop trader. It doesn't matter how much I make, personally. I'm trading with a freaking small account. I had a whopping 1,000 shares of WTW. So it doesn't really matter. But if I can show you these good opportunities and explain the game to you, then many of my students have learned they can do better. Iskander made 400 on ANY. Barry made another few hundred on ANY. Where was the... Oh, okay, here we go. Johan made some good money on WTW, and he was out after CNBC. So good job. I don't mind when students do better than me. Again, I'm not in this to try and make the most. If I make $2,000 and all my students lose money, guess what? I'm not doing my job properly, okay? I'm here to teach you. I'm sure I'm going to grow my account. I'm going to show you how to grow a small account. I started the year with roughly 12 grand. I'm nearly at 110,000 now. So I make my 1,000, 2,000 here or there. Sometimes I don't make anything. But if I can show you the game, that is what I'm concerned with. And a lot of people, kind of misunderstand that. So WTW was a good play today. This was a brand new play, and the opportunity exists where Oprah is going to spread over social media. CNBC and other news reporters are going to report on it later. I probably should have given it more time. The fact is I actually have a big interview in about 15 minutes, so this is going to be a short video lesson. I'm working on a TV show that's going to highlight several of my students. So get excited for that, some of you guys. It's going to be cool. I've done a lot of little TV shows. It takes a while to plan and to produce and to make it happen, but that's why I'm thinking I have to just be quick this morning. In this video lesson, I got to be extra quick. My big winner today, where I made over 1,500, was on ANY. And this chart doesn't look that impressive, right? It's, this is a 4-day chart. It was going down, and now it's going up, and now it's going down. Like, if I didn't know how to read charts, I would say this is just gibberish to me. But yesterday, this was a very nice spike, okay? And this was yesterday what the January effect spikes look like. These little piece of crap companies that really can't spike that much start to spike at the end of January. I have a whole blog post on it. I'll post the link to the blog post that I wrote a few years ago, and I've done dozens of videos on this. Also, if you want to understand the January effect comprehensively, it's in my Tim Tactics and Tim Raw DVDs. But long story short, this is the kind of spike that can happen on very little news. ANY basically doubled on news of like a new product. Okay, the new product is out, that's cool. But the long-term chart on ANY tells the story. It's been fading a lot, okay? It's had a terrible, terrible year. And this is what the January effect is all about. Beaten down stocks that have been sold probably a little too much heading into the end of the year because people get a loss on their taxes, so they take it this year before the end of the year. That creates severely beaten down stock prices. So maybe ANY didn't deserve to go all the way down to 20 cents. Maybe it should have been at 30 or 40 or even 50 cents. So In January, when there's no more tax loss selling, it can spike. But because everybody knows that the January effect usually happens in January when there's no more tax loss selling, people start to anticipate. Sorry, there's alerts going off. This is a live video. People start to anticipate the January effect. So the last week, the last 2 weeks of December, you start seeing a lot of these stocks spiking. ANY was one. RGSE is another one. This one went from 20 cents to 40 cents. What was another one? INAP was spiking. This one went from $1.15 to $1.70. HTBX has gone from 70 cents to like $1.20. So we're seeing all of these kinds of crappy plays. EYES today spiked a little bit. We're seeing all these kinds of crappy plays that really usually have a tough time spiking, and they can start to spike. So I try to avoid it. I was warning people, you know, when I first saw ANY yesterday. I missed the morning spike yesterday because it was so quick and I was busy with other stocks. But I was warning people not to buy this here at 38, 39, 40 cents. And I'm glad I warned. I said, I think this settles around 30 cents. And sure enough, that's what it did in the middle of the day. But it held its gains. You know, this was not just like a big spike and it comes down. You know, there's a chat room out there that's been buying, you know, MPET, and it spikes and comes down, and it spikes and comes down. Look at this. If you can look back even further, where was the first spike? Right here. I mean, all in 1 minute. There's a chat room out there that spikes and then it crashes because they buy it in like literally and sell it within like 30 seconds or 45 seconds. It's disgusting. ANY, no chat room. I mean, there were a few chat rooms like talking about it, but it held its gains. And even though it did come down, it came up again. And so I wanted to dip buy it. I was actually trying to dip buy it in here at like 30 cents, but it kept going up and I was like, oh, I'll try and pay 31, and it kept going up in 32. Eventually I got in at like 33 cents. And my whole goal was, could it break this midday high of 37? And if it could break 37, then it could retest the high of 43. And again, this is not a good company. This is just a January effect play. But by dip buying a January effect play and knowing that January effect plays usually spike for 1, sometimes 2, or even 3 days, you can dip buy them, not chase them, but dip buy them when they hold support. And guess what? The odds are pretty good. And this one, you know, even now it's at 33.5. So if somehow I slept in today, I would still be break even with my buy. But all yesterday afternoon, it closed nicely at 37 after hours. It got up to 40, and this morning it was at like 42, 43, 44. So it double topped correctly, which was my guess, at 44. I said this in the watch list. I said this in the alert. But I don't care if it double tops because I'm not buying it right at the top. Some of you guys only like to seem to buy these like right at the top. You're like, okay, I'm going to watch this and see it at 44. And if it breaks 44, then I'm going to buy because then it's a breakout. But you forget that at 44, it's a 100% winner in just a day from 22. So I don't care if it breaks 44 or not. I'm in at freaking 33. And that is the kind of mentality that you have to have. It's okay if it double tops. You have to anticipate that sometimes it's going to double top. And guess what? It did exactly. So we had the double top, but I locked in over 20% profits overnight, a little over $1,500 on a very small position. Speculative plays I'm not going to be very aggressive with, especially in the January effect. WTW, you know, this is a good lesson for me. It keeps spiking. I probably should have given this more time. And it's not the end of the world that I played it so safely. You know, I have commitments. Life gets in the way sometimes. But I'm going to learn from this. And some people think, oh, Tim, you sold out. It doesn't matter what you do after you're out of the trade. That's incorrect. I'm a student of the market. I'm always trying to learn how to do better and how to do, you know, more. ANY, I didn't get the exact top at 42, 43, but I sold at 39 and 41. So I took a good chunk of the move. WTW, I made 30 cents a share roughly, but now, you know, I could be up, what, 80 cents a share. So, and it actually went up like 90 cents a share for my buy. So I didn't take the good chunk of the move. I only took a small portion. So I'm still working on it. You know, 2 decades later, I'm still trying to get better, and that never stops. So I'm always going to watch these stocks even after I exit. And I'm proud of several of you guys because this is the beauty of having students. You should never just follow me in or out of trades. You should never follow anybody's picks. You should learn and see what you're going to do best yourself. I have a patience problem. I recognize that. What's your problem? You know, we all have different personalities and different problems, but if you admit it, if you talk about it, if you show it, and you try and fix it, that's how you get better over time. So WTW is a good lesson for me. I still made a few $100s. ANY, I made, 1,500, 1,600 plus. That was a very good trade for me. And guess what? I learned and I profited, and now I got to go do this interview with this TV producer, and we're going to try and highlight a few hardworking students. So that's my day today already, this morning. I have kind of a crazy life. Thank you for joining me. Happy holidays. Oh, I forgot to also mention, I donated to one of my old students. He's a student from years ago. Where was he? But if you could retweet this, and if you could donate whatever you can, I'd appreciate it. Where was it? I have too many tweets these days. I gotta go do this call. Where was it? Oh, happy birthday, by the way, to Matty Owens, Triforce Trader. I got to do a whole post on him. But he's the newest millionaire on Profitly. And he's made, what, 1.4 million now? And it's his birthday. So Triforce Trader, go to his Twitter. Wish him a happy birthday. He's a good, hardworking guy. Where was it? Here it is. So I donated $3,000 this morning before the market opened to microcap trading. Microcap trading has this aunt, and this aunt Diana, and she's fighting to fight leukemia, and so I donated $3,000. And if you can donate, or if you can retweet, if you have no money, that's fine. But just go to my Twitter or go to Microcap Trading's Twitter and retweet this and try and get her story out there. She seems like an incredible woman. And it's good. This is what money should be used for, like to fight these bastard diseases and to live well. And, you treat yourself, you treat your family. And for me, I like to try and take care of my students and their families too. So JD15, we're with you, man. Keep up the good work, and happy holidays to your family. And everybody else, happy holidays. All of this trading, I don't want you to think like you have to dedicate your entire lives. I appreciate some of you guys who are really into this, and you want to study and you want to make me proud. And I really respect that, because I want dedicated students. That's what it takes to actually become a millionaire. But please don't burn out. I'm getting a few of you where you don't know when to pull back. Like when it's like family time, and some of you, I feel like you're just saying no to family, and you're like, I have to study. Listen, education is great, but family is important, and education takes a while. A lot of you guys are really, studying hard, and you're expecting all the success in week 1, week 2, month 1, month 2. And you're like, Tim, I've studied so hard for 2 months and I just don't get it yet. Give yourself time, okay? Tim Grittani, arguably the best trader of the past 5 years, who's now turned 1,500 into 3.4 million. He was not consistently profitable for his first 9 months. Eric Russell, one of my upcoming 6-figure students, who's now taken 5,000 into 100,000. It's taken him, yes, a year to build that, but he's also logged all of his studying. He's put in roughly 2,000 hours of study, and he was trading with a simulator for a while. So I know you want success. I want you to be successful too, but you have to be realistic, and you can't expect everything to happen all at once. First of all, you need to witness a lot of these plays. Part of the reason why I played ANY so well is because I've seen this. I've been around. I've seen a lot of January effect plays over many different Januaries. So I have kind of a better temperament, a better perspective. And that's what you need. So please don't burn out. I appreciate your enthusiasm. It's a good problem that I'm beginning to have, as opposed to before, where a lot of people just weren't studying that much. But there's a middle ground, where you study and you learn from the trades that are in progress, and you take advantage of this holiday sale and you watch these DVDs at night or on the weekends, but you don't have to stay up and sleep only 2 hours and be like cracked out the next day. Okay. That's not going to help you. That's not going to help me. That's not going to help anybody. So I appreciate you studying, but it's also holiday time. So spend time with your friends and your family, and study at night, study on weekends, study when you can, but understand that education and changing your life Sorry, there's another alert. These are kinds of long-term projects, so please have the right mindset and perspective. Happy holidays to all of you guys. I'll see you in the chat room. I got to do a quick call.